Was Mum asleep, or something much more final? Ida's heart beat fast inside her chest. It would have flown out if her bones weren't in the way. She blinked to stop the tears, and at the top of the stairs she listened, certain the thing she'd been dreading had happened. All she could think of was the doctor, on his one and only visit, telling her it was too late. Outside Mum's bedroom door, pins and needles prickled all over her. Ida was scared numb that the doctor's terrible prediction was true already. She took a deep breath. Be brave, Ida. Mum needs you to be brave. For Bonnie, at least. She pushed the bedroom door open. Mum lay in bed under all the blankets Ida had been able to muster. Her eyes were closed. Her hair, darker than Bonnie's but spread over the pillow, was just as long and curly. The thin yellow curtain fluttered in the draught that blew through the gap above the windowsill. Bonnie lay on the bed with her, snuggled by her side in the ruckle of sheets and blankets. Mum, it's me. I'm back. I've got your medicine. Ida crept towards the bed. Mum's arm was curled round Bonnie, who had her thumb in her mouth. At 8 years old, she was too old for sucking her thumb, but Ida could remember how comforting it was. Tears pricked behind Ida's eyes. Not yet, Mum. Please, not yet. Bon, come on. Let's leave Mum to sleep. Ida scooped up her sister, who was getting too big to carry off the bed. She would break the news to her when she'd got used to it herself, when she could be brave. Da, is it tea time? I'm hungry. I looked after Mum, I did. I might have helped her get better. She is going to get better, isn't she? Well, I have her medicine now, don't I? Ida tried not to catch her sister's eyes. But not quite yet, love. Ida knew that if she was going to be Mum now, she had to sound like one. I've just got to give Mum her medicine. Why don't you go downstairs and get those wax crayons out and draw Mum a picture on the paper Uncle Arthur gave you? She'd like that. Then, when you've done that, it'll be tea time. Ida felt a tear brimming. She turned away from Bonnie until she could hear her sister's bare feet pad down the stairs. Ida let the tear spill over. She went to the window and drew the curtains as far as they would go. Then she got onto the bed and curled herself up in the little warm dent where Bonnie had been sleeping. Mum's body was still warm. Ida wanted to lie there forever and pretend. Ida, love. So quietly it was hardly a whisper, Mum breathed into Ida's ear. You're back. Mum, I thought you were... Ida wrapped her arm gently round her mum's fragile body. No, her voice croaked. Every word took all her strength. No, love, not yet. And you must be strong. Look after Bonnie. Stay together. Money in the jar under the bed. Mr. Rogers. Bookwork. Clever girl, Ida. Ida? Mum looked into Ida's eyes, and her hand, so thin, cupped gently round Ida's face. She took a big breath. You're my wonder girl. You really are. With all her effort, Mum brought her face to Ida's and kissed her daughter's forehead. Can you sit up, Mum? I've got the medicine. No, love. Too late. Save money. Mum's voice was hoarse. Don't open. Back to Nipes. He might be kind. Mum gasped for breaths that were so hard to find. It's my time, she said, so quietly it was a breath more than a whisper. Be brave for Bonnie. Ida could barely hear her mum now. She leaned in close. If she could just share the life that was in her young life, if it would somehow seep out of hers and into Mum's body and just give her a little longer. Why didn't Mum let her go to Nipes weeks ago? It might have helped. But Ida knew it would have only dulled the pain. It wouldn't have stopped it killing her. Mum was so brave. If only Ida could be like her. Mum's lips brushed against Ida's hair. I love you, my wonder girl. The kiss had taken all her effort. Mum sank back into the bed, and a little puff of breath escaped through her mouth. Mum had let go for the last time. Mum, no, please, just a bit longer. Ida held her arms as if that would make her life flow into her mum's body. But in her heart of hearts, Ida knew that she was gone. She couldn't move. She wanted to stay there forever and give in to all the tears she felt gathering behind her eyes. But as it was getting dark outside, Ida realised that she was Mum now. She pulled herself off the bed, straightened the covers, and with her fingers gently closed Mum's eyes, like drawing the curtains on her life. Then she opened the window to let Mum's spirit escape. The moon shone on the wet pavement. Something moved on the other side of the road. For a moment she thought the tall dark shadow on number 10's doorstep was a person watching. But when she looked again, it was nothing, only her imagination. She took Mum's hairbrush from the top of the chest of drawers and brushed Mum's hair gently, smoothing it away from her face. She straightened the bed sheets. Ida knew you were supposed to cover the dead person's face with the sheet, but she couldn't do that. Mum looked so peaceful. The pain had gone from her face, and it really was as if she was only asleep. She reached into her own dress pocket to find Mum's purse, the specially embroidered little clip purse Mum loved so much. But Ida's pocket was empty. She tried the other one. Nothing. She'd lost it. She couldn't help it now. A sob racked Ida's body, and a silent tear rolled over her cheek, followed by another and another. And then, when she thought she was crying for the purse and not Mum, she cried some more. The purse didn't have any money inside, not anymore, so she shouldn't be upset. But it was Mum's, and she loved it. And now it was as if Ida had lost her twice over. There was a knock on the door. "Da! Somebody's here!" called Bonnie from the kitchen. "You finish your picture." Ida tried to sound normal for Bonnie. "I'll be down in a minute." But Ida heard the front door open and Bonnie speak to whichever neighbour it was that had come to call. They weren't loud enough for her to hear what they were saying. Ida wiped her face with her dress and dried her eyes before she went downstairs. Bonnie was back at the kitchen table colouring her picture. "Who was at the door?" asked Ida. "I don't know." "Didn't you see them?" "Yes, but I don't know who it was. She asked me what my name was, though." "Did you tell her?" "Yes, and she gave me this too." Bonnie picked up Mum's purse off the table and gave it to Ida. Ida held it to her cheek. It smelled of Mum, of Lily of the Valley. The relief of having it back and the sweet smell made her feel calmer. The silk was a bit damp, but something inside rustled like paper. It couldn't be money, could it? Ida clicked open the purse. She pulled out a limp piece of paper with some writing that was worse than Bonnie's. "The undertaker is a devil. He wants your sister bad. From Baby." Ida dashed to the front door and looked up and down the street. It had stopped raining, but the clouds felt so low you could reach up and wring them out. Apart from one black cat crossing the street, lucky or unlucky, Ida never knew, Camellia Lane was empty in both directions. Bonnie came and stood beside her. "She said my hair was like Goldilocks."